This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rajni Jain on behalf of agricultureinformation.com. I'd like to welcome you all to this online meeting. Please take a moment to review the guidelines for this online meeting posted in the chat window. I now request the moderator, Mr. Lakshmipati, to introduce the speaker and start the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rajini. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lakshmipati and I'll be moderating this meeting. Agricultureinformation.com likes to welcome to this meeting Mr. Satish Babu Gadde, the Secretary of Lakshya, Eluru, West Godavari District, Andhra Pradesh. Mr. Satish Babu Gadde will be speaking on the topic Cattle-Based Agriculture, India's century-old traditional agriculture. I now request the speaker to begin.
Thank you and good evening, y'all.
Yeah, good evening.
This is Satish Babu, and I'm a farmer, and we are doing this cattle-based agriculture, and it's India's one of the tradition in agriculture. The cattle is the tradition of agriculture, and that cattle. Cattle-based agriculture means cattle are the mainstream. They are in the mainstream and they look after each and everything. And what are the problems we are facing today? This is the answer for every query. So since 1880, since 1900, okay, since then 1900, our family is doing this agriculture. The same system which was followed by our great grandfather in 1880. The system is now still continuing. I am the fourth generation, fifth generation. Main aim is strengthening the soil with the cattle. Yes. Now these are the cattle. We'll keep them in the field itself. We don't keep them in the shed. Only we keep them on the on field. Every all 365 days they are on the field, and their dung and urine is spread like this regularly. And I will show the videos how we are operating on the field. Yeah. They are free for grazing all the daytime, and in the evening we tie them like this in the field, and in the next day morning again. Is it audible? And the next day morning we release them for grazing at 6:30 a.m. So as I told you, this traditional farming, and we have 23 states, and each state is having its own tradition, maybe in the language or dress, or the clothes, traditional clothes, or these climatic conditions. And as per the climatic conditions and the water availability, our elders has framed this system. So in the morning we are releasing them for grazing. See, here is the long rope. For this long rope, for every 6 feet, there will be a small rope tied one side to the long rope and another side to the leg of the cattle. And as I told you, after releasing them for grazing, after releasing them for grazing, The rope which was tied will be shifted to a 6 feet. See this one. Simply the rope shifted to 6 feet, 6 or 7 feet ahead, and the dung and urine is left over where the cattle stands all the night. And we have 34 cattle, and see this is the dung yesterday night where this cattle stands, and the dung and urine is directly adding to the soil. And manpower is very least manpower. We are using only one man who is looking after all these 34 cattle, and this our person is not able to walk properly also, even though he is managing all these cattle. So this in the next day the rope will be shifted to 6 to 7 feet ahead, and in the evening the cattle are tied to this rope, and every day they sleeps in a new place. By that, by that they are not affected by this mastitis. This is a worldwide problem. Mastitis is the worldwide problem in the cattle. Is a simple thing we are following. So far, there is no trace of mastitis in our cattle. In India, we are losing 17% of the cattle every year due to this dangerous disease, mastitis. But in this system, as they are sleeping in new place, there is no uric acid effect also, so that there is no mastitis at all in our field. And not only in India, even throughout the world, Netherlands, Australia, America, they are spending much more amount on this to arrest this mastitis, but it's no way is spreading like anything. So here it is a very simple thing. We have shifted this rope to ahead. And the second issue, and second one is weed. Weed is the another major problem throughout the global. Even US, if you take US, we'll think that US is a very forward country, but they are also mixing up 2 3 molecules for this removal of weedicide, but is not possible for that. That weed itself is gaining resistance, and the whatever the molecule we are applying for that, it is not doing any harm to that. And here, due to the cattle, the urine of the cattle is spreading uniform in our field. The weed is uprooted naturally, and we will not observe any weed in our field. Is an underlining and important subject regarding this cattle. What they are doing is cattle. They are removing the weed. Once again. Yeah, this is the same field, no? You see the grass, how the grass is coming up. They are stress free grazing. Our cattle from day one, the calves are also they are will be the mother, and we leave total milk to the calves. So they will in this lactation period, they learn everything from their mother, where to stay, if rain comes, where to stay and where to go, water, if they want to take water, wherever it will go, at what time they will to sleep, everything they learn from their mother in this lactation period. And by uh, when I told you that we are leaving total milk to the calves at 22 to 24 months, at any cost they are getting conceived. Even in NDRI, it is taking up to 36 months also. Because of this system, the growth of our cattle will be more growth will be observed in our cattle. By that, we will sell the bigger cattle. By that, we will sell the bigger cattle, and the amount which we will incur from the selling of the bigger cattle that we will re-spend on this for our manpower. So for manpower, we are not paying from our pocket. They themselves, they are paying our cattle. They themselves are paying for the manpower, and they're strengthening the soil. They are removing the weed, and because of this system, we are not affected by mastitis and this. And now the problem is strengthening the soil, and we are capable of sending rockets into the sky, but we are not able to strengthen the soil where we stand, because it is the job of the cattle. Cattle and soil, they are contemporary each other. We are only the managers. We are managing the cattle, and we, as well as we are managing the soil, but we have no the cattle. Without cattle, we cannot we cannot improve the strength of the soil. So major portion in our life is the cattle, and we'll show you another. Hello, are you able to see these patches? No, it is because of this urine. Because of this urine, the weed is get uprooted, no? And the dung is also spread uniformly. See, in this coconut garden, the system we will change a little bit. System we will change, and we will keep 2 cattle for each tree, and the dung and urine will be left over there. Here you can see that the dung and urine and the soil is also mixed up with these legs of the cattle, and one way they are making it as jivamrut with this soil, dung and urine. They are mixing up with water. So now Now, in coconut, not only in coconut, in perennial crops, we are facing this white fly, rugose white fly. But in our system, in our trees, due to this adding of this dung and urine at this root system, and the urine of this passes to this top end, and it will act as an poison for that rugose white fly, and very very less harm, rather when we compared with the others. Only 10%, when they are affected 70% in other fields, only 10% is affected in our field. And one important thing is the Coconut Board of India, they'll says that 170 nuts per tree per annum, but we are crossing 270 nuts per tree, more than 270 nuts per day. You will not observe any fruit fall or flower fall in our field. And only exclusively coconut garden means exclusively we'll keep only coconut. No intercultivation will be done in here, because why when I observed in the other fields, any nut formation any nut formation, might be coconut or cashew nut or any other nut formation, will be with calcium. So this perennial tree will take calcium from the soil, more soil. And if you go for another plantation, that will also take, and the calcium will be we will observe the deficiency of calcium in the soil. So if we do like that, these cattle will replace calcium from in the means of dung and urine. So there will be no calcium deficiency in our garden. And we have 3 crops. One is paddy, second one is maize, and third one is coconut. We have divided our land into three portions. From June to November, the paddy will be the standing crop in paddy field, and after that we'll keep some fodder for these cattle, and we'll keep them in the cattle. Only single crop pattern we are following. So even in the harvesting of paddy also, we'll do it. Why? Because these paddy heaps will be dried for, it will take 11 or 12 days for drying of these paddy heaps. And in Rigveda, there is clearly written that these heaps will extract some power from moonlight and sunlight. And after drying of this heap, we will make them into paddy stack. So we'll make them into a stacking, and this paddy stack will be kept for 60 days, minimum 60 days. By that time, it will get cured. Naturally, the paddy will get cured, and this I came to know from one scientist that amylopectin in paddy will be converted into amylose, and amylose means it will be easier for our digestive system. So it's a very tough system, even though we are not leaving our tradition. We are still we are continuing this way. So this is the finally we'll keep this paddy. This will be kept for 60 days minimum. After that, we will threshold this, separate this grains from this, and after harvesting, we'll keep this fodder for our cattle. From November end to June end, we'll keep our cattle in this paddy field, and they will graze this green fodder as well. They are strengthen the soil also. And after from June onwards, we will shift them to maize field. So we'll keep maize seed around October 20th, like that. Up to October 20th, they will be in the maize field. Again, they are grazing the grass there, and again they are strengthening the soil. And after that, we will shift them to the coconut field. So in each and every part of our land, they are strengthening regularly. As we have human has taken this breakfast, lunch, dinner. Regularly, they are doing. They are giving food to the soil, and in return, if we talk about this, because of this, if we talk about plant protection, as I told you in the coconut garden also, plant protection will be taken care of this cattle only. Plant protection, water management, and we have ours is in a borewell irrigation, and earlier the power supply comes from a single transformer for 7 or 8 farmers. We for we observed that when it fails, transform fails, we 7 or 8 farmers will not get power, and our borewells will not run at that time, except us other farmers used to rush to the electricity board for change of the transformer. Why? Because they applied chemical fertilizer. It needs water. It needs water. It will not hold water for more time, but in our system, our soil will hold uh, water water for more 10 days more, rather than the other fields. So the other farmers, they are hurriedly, they have to rush for this change of the transformer. So and he's a former Director General of Indian Institute of Soil Sciences, Bhopal. and he himself visited our farm and he has taken this soil sample, sir. Yeah, earthworms, no? If we earthworms, usually every farmer will show under the shade net of the tree or somewhere in the bunds, but is in the middle of the farm, middle of the field. Wherever the dung is there we will see the earthworms. Ah. And now I will share my experiences. No, as I told you, this my mastitis is a worldwide problem, and we decide is also a worldwide problem. Water holding capacity, also I have explained you. And regarding one thing I will say you, we have, as I told you, that we have 34 number of cattle, and we will sell every year. We used to sell 12 to 14 cattle. 12 to 14 cattle. It depends upon the availability of the female calves. So in 1994, 8 grams means 1 sovereign. 1 sovereign of gold is 3,800 in 1994. At that time, for one puja, we need 3 sovereigns of gold. For that, for to acquire that, we sold 3 cattle. But we didn't get 3 sovereigns of gold by selling off these 3 cattle. We only got 2.25 sovereigns of gold. But now, if we sell the cattle, the size of the cattle and the breed of the cattle is same, because our we get it from our own cattle. Mean the size of the cattle and the breed of the cattle is one and same when we compare with 1994 also. Now, if we sell this one cattle, we are getting 2.25 sovereigns of gold now. Now, is more than gold. The buffaloes are turned more than a gold. So when we sell 10 to 12 number of cattle, whatever the amount incurred we are getting from that selling of the cattle, that itself is enough to manage our farm for manpower, or for this motors, maintenance of motors, or for seed, or whatever it may be. Not even a single paisa we are spending from our pocket. Even though we are doing single crop pattern, because of this cattle, we are self-sufficient with that. And one way you can say that LISA, least external input sustainable agriculture. But there is no input from external for us. Everything is managed by our cattle itself. So, and regarding this paddy, we'll keep it for 1 year. After separating this paddy, we'll keep in our godown for 1 year. After 1 year, we'll make it into rice and we'll sell that rice. It is a continuous process since 18 years. Now we are selling our rice at the price of 100 rupees a kilo, and the transport has to be borne by the beneficiary. Why? Because whatever the amount of this paddy we'll get it, we'll make it into 12 months, and the for some families only we'll give it, we'll supply this. Hello, we will supply to some families only. For all the year we'll supply for only some families. So that is our trade secret, not trade, that is our successful secret. We are not selling it in the open market. So we'll keep for some families. No, I strongly believe that cattle, if you take care of the cattle, and they take care of all the queries of our agriculture. So even in adverse climatic conditions also, we are successfully we are coming out of all this. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Satish Kumar Gadde, for an excellent presentation and talk. I now request the participants to ask their questions. We'll also be posting the speaker's contact details in the chat window. So over to the
Yes.
participants. Mr. Satish, can I request you to stop sharing the screen?
Yeah, sir.
Can you remove the screen?
Sir?
Please remove the screen.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, over to the participants for questions. Yes, gentlemen, the first question could be from, yes, any questions, please? Yes, Mr. Michael, please go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Satish Babu.
Yes, sir.
I just want to ask one question. If you are not milking the cattle and the milk is given to the calf, how do you run the farm? I know you got only one person, but aren't you into any commercial kind of venture?
It's a mixed agriculture. It's not a dairy farm. It's a mixed agriculture. So, hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yep.
Yeah, by leaving so suppose if 10 cattle we are taking milk from 10 cattle, approximately 40 liters we will get, no? And if we sell that, we will get hardly 40 rupees to 50 rupees a liter. That for that purpose we have to keep 2 or 3 manpower. If we leave the total milk to the calves, we are avoiding that. Whatever the amount getting from selling of the milk, we have to again spend on the manpower. What we are doing is we are removing manpower and we are giving this milk to the calves itself. So the calves, they are consuming at the age of 20 to 24 months, in spite of getting conceived at the age of 5 years also. By that we are getting one more calf. So, but that we are gaining more growth is observed in our cattle. Hello.
Mr. Michael, you're happy with the answer. You're satisfied. You got the answer. Okay, Mr. Got the answer.
Yeah, yes,
Okay, next
I'm
question.
satisfied. Thank you.
Yeah, and I thank
Sir?
you. Next question. Mr. Pamati, you have a question? What about Mr. Joseph Brito? Okay, Miss Jabrina John, any questions, please? Mr. Nayan Monty, Mr. Mohan.
Sir, I have a question. Thank Mr.
Yes,
Lakshmipati. This is Sabrina John.
yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, sir, thank you for your talk. I joined in late, but from what I've heard, I've gained a lot of um, understanding of your land. Sir, when it comes to taking care of the cattle, can you explain just care of the cattle? Because I'm very new to this area of agriculture. So, how did you start? How many did you start with? What is like the basic care required, manpower required for the cattle? Could you throw some light into that area? And do you only have the buffaloes, or are there cows, etc., in your land? And how much land do you have that you have, three types of crop growing in a year?
Yeah, we have 20 hectares of land, and we divide it
Okay.
into 3 parts. No, in one part we raise this paddy, and in another part maize, and third one is perennial, that is coconut. And single crop pattern only will be grown. In the paddy, exclusively paddy will be grown, and it is also one crop only. And in the maize also, it is also one crop. Why we have chosen that now? Because for for cattle we have chosen paddy, and for cattle, for the sake of cattle we have chosen maize, and for the sake of cattle we have chosen coconut, to keep them
Okay.
uh, what we call, to keep them comfort. We have chosen this. If maize, it will sell for 1 rupee a quintal also, we will graze that, we will will take up that graze maize. So is
Okay.
price is not the criteria. We take care of the, for the criteria, what we call for the comfort of the cattle, we are chosen that. And it is the system is since 1880 we have our family is following. And for your kind information, our family is the only family who is taking up this Indian traditional system. If our family leaves this system, India will be losing a greatest system. And one more point you asked is the cattle. And the mother's milk is um, for the uh, for the calves. So it's a simple. From day one, they will be the mother. If we tie for one day, if we separate from one day from the mother, and it will what we call the digestive system will get very less. So after one day, if we leave milk also, it will not digest. But what we are doing is from the same minute, it will be the mother. And it also don't know whether to, whenever it will hungry, then only it will take that much of milk and will run for some time and will take for rest. And then only it will take some more milk. From morning to evening, it will take 6 or 7 times. So it is a natural. We are following the natural.
No, sir, I
Might be.
really appreciate that you have kept the traditional, tradition of Indian agriculture. I know that, with modern science, etc., they're trying to reinvent the wheel, but we had a system that was already functioning very beautifully till it was interfered upon by, the outside influences. So I really appreciate that, you have retained this traditional way of agriculture. You also quoted the Rig Veda, and it's very interesting. I will try and get in touch with you, sir. I'm hoping to get into agriculture, and I'm starting small, so I need all the information that I can get. I truly appreciate you sharing
I
with us.
Yeah, I'm not proudly, but I will say that no one will show you like this practically. What I am practically doing, I have shown you with these videos.
Yes. Yes, I appreciate that. I understand the wealth of information that you have imparted. Even the thing of, leaving the paddy in the ground for a certain amount of time, the sun and moon acting on it, the changes that are taking place chemically within the grain. I do appreciate the information and the wisdom that you have
Mr.
imparted,
Brina,
and
can you
I would
explain
like
me?
to get in touch with you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Brina, your
Thanks.
voice is cracking. Your voice is
Sorry,
cracking. You can please get in
sorry,
touch with
sir.
the speaker directly.
Yes,
The speaker's contact
yes.
details are available in the chat window. You can note it down and then get direct contact with the speaker for any further clarification. Your voice is cracking. Thank you. Okay, there's
Thank
one
you.
question, Mr. Satish from Mr. Brito, posted in the
Yes,
chat window.
yes, sir.
It reads like this. Is it possible to grow other food grains and other plantation crops instead of paddy, maize, and coconut?
Sir, main motto is strengthening the soil, sir. When we approach a scientist to strengthen the soil, he can't do anything. Human cannot strengthen the soil. It is the duty of the cattle only. We are capable of sending, as I told you, we are capable of sending satellites into the space, many satellites at a time. But why we are failed to restore the strength of the soil where we stand? We are failing to strengthen the soil where we stand. Still, I don't know why we are sending satellites, more and more satellites, and giving head in the headlines, but we are failing to strengthen the soil. And one more thing, strongly, I can say that our human health is directly dependent on cattle. Directly dependent on cattle. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Not
thank
only
you, Mr. Satish.
sir, one thing. When we strengthen the soil in this way, any crop we can grow. It doesn't need anything. No input will be needed for this if you do like this.
Yeah, well answered, Mr. Satish. That is the answer for Mr. Joseph Brito's question. Any other questions, please, from others? Gentlemen, any other questions? Okay, looks like no more questions to ask, and we have come to the end of the session. I'd like to thank the speaker, Mr. Satish Babu Gadde on behalf of Agriculture Information for taking his time to speak with us. I now request the organizer of the meeting, Ms. Rajini Jain, to please close the meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, I must be thankful for you for giving this opportunity in your platform, sir.
Thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome, sir. You're
Lakshapati.
welcome.
I like to thank the speaker, Mr. Satish Babu Gadde, for taking the time to talk with us. I also like to thank all the participants for their time. The meeting will now be closed.
Thank you.